And then you have the media on top of it. Is the media giving you anything? In Colorado, the media has mysteriously abandoned the ship on the latest tragic shooting story. In case you don't know about it, it happened on Friday. A high school student walked into a school openly carrying a firearm. He has a Molotov cocktail as well. In fact, a couple of them. And he's wearing tactical gear. He states the name of a specific teacher he wants to kill before heading deeper inside the school. He ends up hurling the Molotov cocktails and shooting at least two students. Both live. One is still in serious condition. She's currently in a coma. Then, the media reports, suddenly, after only 80 seconds, the student turns the gun on himself and pulls the trigger, ending the threat. They were actually on CNN talking about what a relief it is. It could have lasted longer. This is really a good thing. It didn't, 80 seconds, only 80 seconds. This one lasted only 80 seconds. Was I the only one that was watching going, why only 80 seconds? Can someone tell me, or at least ask the question, why did this one only last 80 seconds? The media not focusing on the why should be your red flare. No one focuses on the why the dirtbag suddenly, had a change of heart and turned the gun on himself. Why? Because a student resource officer, along with a sheriff's deputy on duty at the school, remember, posting someone at the school with a gun, that's madness! That's the NRA! Really? The guy with the gun who was posted there heard the commotion when the attack started. He immediately rushed to the scene, pulled his gun, confronted the student. Believing he was cornered, the student killed himself. The deputy, on guard at the school, having someone at the school armed, ended it in 80 seconds. That's why. But again, the red flag should have been they didn't ask why. See, that was turnoff number one for the media. If this were a gun-free zone, more people would most likely be dead. If somebody wasn't posted there with a gun, more people would have been dead. Turnoff number one, doesn't fit their agenda. Turnoff number two, the gun he was carrying. Oh, it had to be a semi-automatic, had to be some sort of military-style weapon. No. Remember, turnoff number two, why this story is being buried? It's exactly the same weapon that Joe Biden told his wife, you would be totally cool to have, Jill. A shotgun. And finally, the biggest turnoff. Kid wasn't a Tea Party guy. Hated the Republicans, hated the Tea Party. In fact, he was a socialist. Isn't that weird? Yeah, no matter how many times Brian Ross at ABC tried to Google Tea Party and Colorado shooter, kept coming up socialist. Yeah, strange. In fact, you read his Facebook post, he goes off on the Republicans and off on people who say that you should be able to own a gun. That's weird. It's weird. He sounds like an episode of Piers Morgan, quite frankly. But the media isn't just ignoring this fact. No, they've gone the extra step. They're now covering it up. I'm going to show you what the Denver Post did to their story. First, they reported the story. Here's the story from the Denver Post. Thomas Conrad, an economics class with a gunman, described him as a very opinionated socialist. They later edited socialist out, even though you can find that on his Facebook and everything else. They just left it. And they said he had an economic class with the gunman, described him as very opinionated. We left out socialist. And the reason? The Post says, we've decided that not to have another student apply a label to the shooter, a label the student likely didn't even understand. I know. High school students are stupid. They can't understand stuff. They're dumb. Especially this kid. On his Facebook, he talks about Keynesian economics. Yeah, Keynesian economics, that's easy. I don't have any idea what socialism is. I'm just picking my nose right now. It's my nose, right? Not my eye. The media thinks that every shooter is a conservative. They have to have it that way. So let me give you a pro tip, media. It'll make your life really so much easier. You'll be home in half the time every day. I mean, you're not really working anyway. Why don't you try making the truth your only agenda? Because it's a lot easier. It's so much easier than trying to jam everything into your narrow-minded, pig-headed left-wing agenda. Let me tell you something. The lies, the spin, the political correctness, the overreaching by our government and the media that turns a blind eye, it all leads to the one word I started with: unsustainable.